Hi, I'm Heimbach. Good to have you back. This video is the start of a series on an instrument that has fascinated me for a long time, the acoustic toy piano. What interests me about toy pianos is their duality. They are naive and innocent, but can easily drift into the sinister. Each toy piano sounds unique, and the passing of time gives each its own unique tuning that I don't know if there's a way to actually retune. Every country appears to have its own sonic identity manifested in their toy pianos. The Michelson from France are very upbeat and sunny, perfect for chansons. Jama from the United States reminds me of the sound of surf, Beach Boys, and the Addams Family. And Goldon from East Germany, who made toy pianos when the wall still stood, sound like abandoned fairgrounds. Because they sound different, have their own identity, I have assembled quite a collection in my studio for use in soundtracks. For example, when I was scoring an adaptation of East of Eden for the theater, I used the J-Mar to localize the main theme in America. For the Mad Circus scene in Die Blechtrommel bei Günter Grass, I used two Goldens at the same time for a maniacal lead melody that fit what was happening on stage. And for Antigone, which I did in Weimar, I used also a Goldon, but pitched down deep with the Naga, which showed the loss of a generation in a war. In the music videos that I post on YouTube, you might have heard the toy piano come in as a tape loop. The sonic differences between the toy pianos are striking, considering that most operate on the same principle. Metal rods are hit by wooden or plastic hammers. This principle applies to all the toy pianos that I own, except for this little one, which works more like a glockenspiel. The pianos that I'm talking about as this series starts are no longer manufactured. Jama was bought by its competitor Schönhut, Michelson burned down in the 1970s, and Gaulden stopped making toy pianos as the Berlin Wall came down. So why am I focusing on instruments that are only available secondhand? Every new toy piano that I've tried recently sounded horrible. Tinny, soulless, musically unexciting. These are real toy pianos. I couldn't find any musical application for them. That's not to say that there aren't some good instruments out here. I would love to try a Schönhut, but being in Germany, they're hard to come by. The second reason is these machines are all dying. I realized that as I used them in theaters. I had them played alongside orchestras, or by actors, or even robots. And they often returned with broken keys. And as far as I know, these are not fixable. And for every replacement piano that I bought, I had to buy 2 or 3 until I found one that was in good condition. Soon, all of them might sound like these poor instruments. So with this video series, I want to capture what they're all about before they're gone. The first manufacturer that I want to have a look at is Goldon from East Germany. It's not that easy to get good information about Goldon. Their Wikipedia entry is the same as their marketing brochure. According to that, they've been making instruments since the 1930s and switched to the educational market after the Second World War. Markneukirchen, where Goldon is situated, is known for its sheer amount of music instrument manufacturers. The town homepage boasts this lovely collage. In Goldon's new catalog, you won't find any toy pianos, only the usual fare of educational instruments for schools, such as glockenspiels and percussion. I've reached out to Goulden for more information about their toy pianos. If they answer, I'll post a video with an update. The quality and sound of Goulden instruments varies drastically from model to model, but generally I don't think anyone would call these high-end. They tend to be the most warped in tuning of all the toy pianos I have, and have the most uneven keybeds. They often get stuck when playing, for example. The metal tines also tend to break easily, which is a shame, because Goulden have a truly magical sound to them. This broken little fella is the smallest Goulden that I own. The black keys are only painted on. The travel of the hammers is short, and the tines themselves too. Here's how it sounds. Of all the Gouldens that I have, this is the one that sounds the worst. It's only fitting for a nursery, and I don't find any redeeming musical value in this thing. It's tinny and thin and reminds me more of the newer toy pianos that you can buy in stores. Its bigger brother, which I nicknamed Blue Dream, is a whole different matter. It's made from a similar mixture of plastic outside and pressboard, but with longer tines, more treble for the hammers, and it has actual black keys. As you can hear, this sounds way more interesting than its smaller counterpart. It has a lovely grandfather clock ring to it. I wonder if the steel is different from the other Gouldens that I own, because the sound is much softer, but it also tends to break a lot. The keys tend to get stuck, which makes it difficult to play fast patterns. I've used this model in a recent adaptation of Alice in Wonderland, where it became a lead instrument, as it was heard through the tiny speakers plastered all over the rooms easily. Now we're moving on to the most common Goulden model, the upright. It is the second biggest Goulden. It's made from wood, it has a collapsible keyboard for transport, and usually some lovely stickers. Its sound is clangy, with slightly dissonant overtones. Brighter and yet more broken sounding than the plastic one, this feels solid and has a decent keyboard. Curiously, here is a made-for-export version by distribution company Musica Mundi that was made for the French market. It looks similar, but with a more valuable looking color finish. Maybe in an attempt to make it more like the Michelson pianos, which ruled the French market, this sounds much brighter, but also a bit thinner. It's a bit unpleasant on its own, but in a mix, this will cut through like a knife. The most posh of the Goldons I've come across is this grand piano version. It comes in fashionable 70s brown, has legs you can screw on and off, but it's made from pressed wood still. As you can hear, it's noticeably quieter, but also a bit more mysterious than its upright counterparts. The action is the best of all Goldons. You can actually do fast runs on this without a high risk of keys getting stuck. I tend to get enamored with different toy pianos at different times, depending on where I'm using them. Right now, this is one of my favorites. That is because of the mysterious texture that this model has, but also because it's still in great shape and plays well, which is, as I mentioned, rare with Goldon toy pianos. The Goldon toy pianos are broken beauties to me. They speak of dreams, and anywhere you want some form of decay mixed with a beautiful tone, these will shine. To me, they sound so much different to the more upbeat Michelson pianos that I'm going to cover in a future video. Now, if you want the sound of these Goldons but don't want to spend months on thrift stores or East German flea markets, I've made an OP1 sample pack. And because I'm me, I recorded all these toy pianos using dictaphones, and a Nagra. I messed with the speeds so you get the pure sound, but also sound design options. All samples are in WAV, so you can just throw them in any sampler and use them there, though you will lose the processing that I did on the OP1. It's available on my Patreon. That's it for this video. If you have any more questions or toy pianos I should check out, please tell me in the comments. Thank you all for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.